handy, but I feel like Maokai actually has some good answers into it. We also get the Tristana locked in for Creme, so double ADC composition online for top esports.
There is so much pressure now on Tian to find the right engages. Of course, Meiko can help with that too with the Nami tidal waves, but you need to make sure that they can lock people in place long enough that the double AD carries and the burst and the DOT can come through to lock someone out. The problem is the Maokai is going to get blocked up by someone like Ude going unstoppable, the Shinsao ultimate, and then of course the Breath of Life from the Milio as well. So when it comes to team fights, I think top esports actually have a harder time of using that Maokai than maybe other compositions will.
And now for the other side of things for EDG, where you feel a little bit more confident, I would say, in their picks this time around, but especially it comes down to execution. I like the Orianna for Fisher, something of comfort for him, but comboing very well with Jiejie on the Xin Zhao.
Definitely a better leg up to actually play in the early game this time. Ude pretty much always pushes against Rumble. The Orianna can, of course, get jumped on at level 2 by the Tristana, but there are some times the Orianna can kind of get the ball beyond the wave and punish the Tristana's early game low range. This should be an easier early game for EDG to not get locked out so early.
Game 1 was a little bit rough for EDG, but now they're warmed up, ready to go, back in the chairs and back in the driver's seat. We'll see if they can wield this team composition, especially with Jiejie at the helm of a very, very heavily needed Xin Zhao against the top esports who looked oh so clean in that first game. There were a couple hiccups as the game went on. The lead was oh so big though. It was almost impossible. So EDG fans rise up, hoping for a 3-game series. Top esports looking to slam home an early night. As the skybox roars, we hit the rift for game number 2.
No Gyos over the stadium. This time it's all business. JackeyLove, I don't know if you want to walk up there, buddy. I have to blow his flash early.
That is 100% a flash, and that is something absolutely to return on. I think Jiejie will be visiting bot lane a little bit more.
Flash and the heal. Okay, so bot lane was a bit awkward for EDG last game. Meiko gave a bit of a shellacking to his old bot partner of Lee from last spring. And his old organization in general. Gosh, he had something like a 1-0 and 11 scoreline by the end of the game, with the first blood involved with that too. But having 2 summoners blown, as we're going to go see on this replay, is not the best leg up. Remember that they picked this Lucian Nami to contest the assumed Milio Aphelios in the early laning phase. That really doesn't help. Getting stacked as 4 men, don't get me wrong, it's pretty hard to overcome that. But it's good prep from EDG to make sure that they knew likely that they're going to walk up the test. But still, shame to see them lose both sides.
And this bot lane, very indicative of how the game is going to go, especially with the early pressure. We'll see Lead and Vampire take that forward foot this time around, where JackeyLove and Meiko actually had a ton of pressure on the Senatom Kench last time.
One thing to note about this lane as well, Aphelios very rarely goes for the support item because he's unlikely to kind of use the sheen effect of the Blood Song as much. It's not an item which really fits into his damage profile quite as much compared to something that feels like the Lucian, which we've seen it most on. Right, so this is something that we need to be tracking across the game now, because we have bot lane with push, talked about that and the implications of level 1. Top lane we talked about having push. At least Creme gets to push in the mid lane and gives something for Tian to work around. The Maokai is not necessarily going to be doing anything that aggressive, but if you can get wards, or in this case saplings, onto Jiejie, hopefully these early losing lanes will start to stabilize and maybe play around the level 4 to 6 mark, as opposed to the first few levels of the game where it's quite difficult.
Now, Creme was a key unlocking point last game for top esports. I expect that to also be the case here on Tristana. Do we expect early and often ganks, or at least hovering from Tian too?
Really depends on the openings. If you get good information on where Jiejie is, you can go for things, but you can never really act without knowing by implication or actually directly seeing on an award where this Xin Zhao is. He's too powerful in the early game to let him go off the radar.
And that skirmishing is oh so strong early as the Xin Zhao. I think Jiejie wanting to utilize that as this composition comes to a head too. I think you can start thinking a little bit more about these objectives, and especially top esports trying to maybe get one of the grubs while there's a lot of prevalent presence down here from EDG. Both junglers, though, will be on the same side of the map this time around. 369 going into Allah.
Interesting thing here. 369 has not gone for Ignite or Flash. He's gone for Ghost on the Rumble. Maybe trying to look to see if he can keep the Flame Spitter on the Udyr for as long as possible. I don't really know the intricacies of the Rumble with the Ghost into the Udyr. If you want the laning phase, typically it has been the Ignite, and you can use the move speed of your shield to get away. But given that Udyr has so much move speed in his kit, I can understand the logic of this as long as you can use it to actually force the damage to land on this guy.
But now let's expand on that. There's always a conversation of Flash on D or F, you know, Ghost on D or F. Which one? It doesn't make any sense because it doesn't start with the button.
In the recent patch notes, I think 14.2, you know, the patch notes confirm that, you know, when you press the F key, the flash. So, you know, there's someone there at the road office who's keeping in tune with those F flashes.
Subtly.
But Tian is here on top side as well. Let's see how much they can do with juggling aggro with the Mazel.
All right. Is he going to be cooked alive? It looks like so. First blood straight into 369's beautiful pockets.
So, Tian actually didn't juggle the aggro. He went just for the straight W, made sure there was no chance that Alec could get some early turnaround damage. Cannon is going to be lost to the turret, but not too much else, so it's okay. You get the kill onto the Rumble as well, importantly so. We talked about how Udyr is kind of annoying into the Rumble in regards to just getting instant wave clear and just being very hard to keep damage sticking to him as well. Let's see how much 369 can do with an early kill on his head.
We do have both objectives spawning at least on the map, and with that early advantage, maybe that means that top esports can put a little bit more contest up this top side. It looks like Tian is heading that way as well. Meanwhile, Vampire and Lee play pretty aggressive against JackeyLove down here, knowing they can't step up with that ranged advantage at least.
Okay, so yeah, this bot lane's going pretty well, and we can see that JackeyLove also hasn't been able to get a recall yet. So if he does get a recall for a support item, it's going to be pretty late. I'd imagine it's still valuable anyway, and it's probably not going to be as late an evolution. And a completion of the quest as poor Doggo had in one of his games earlier. What is it, about 23 minutes or something like that.
Why you gotta do that, man?
Because it's a point of reference. It's really important to know when Lucian hits his item spikes. He's going to have his back stopped again, actually. You can see that on the minimap. That's really important. Now Jiejie gets to come down towards bot side. These recalls have been stopped for a long time. What's the response? They're 3v2 under turret.
There's not much they can do. They're going to get the engage here. TP's now coming in. JackeyLove, flash out, nicely done. Jiejie now getting cooked, equalizer down, and a couple harpoon shots, and 369's about to pick up another one. He's letting the angle go for Creme. Now Vampire gonna get the reset on him here. Creme wants it, and Creme gets it with the buster shot. Just like that, top esports up 3-0.
Well, there's your response. If you don't get the dive done quick enough, double teleport, or at least a teleport on a run, come down to change things. Fisher caught out of his own net as well. He did not get the memo.
369 is just cooking him, man. I love it, because we started this by saying that 369, not the biggest Rumble player. Well, he's 3-0 now. He's been all over the map.
Yeah, what happened to 369? Can't play Rumble. Had, what, one game of it last year, which ended in defeat. Comes back in this game and is absolutely toasting EDG. This dive initially looks really good because they've managed to stop this Lucian Nami from recalling, getting extra combat stats. This is the timing to make the dive, if any. But even then, they can't make it happen in time. 369 has the Ghost on the Rumble. Creme has the early push in mid lane as well to get Vampire out of his way. Important to note, actually, just before this, Creme stopped Fisher from getting the recall on the time that he wanted by threatening a soft freeze. Maybe that meant that Fisher wasn't in a position to contest that bot lane play as well. Lots of small factors leading into this dive, which then works out in top esports' favor.
The dominoes start falling, and unfortunately, it's EDG that have to pay the price. Again, a matchup that, while it might not mean as much as it does to the organizations, to every single player, Meiko was a piece of EDG for a long time, and it feels really good to get any victory over him. But right now, top esports looking for a very quick 2-0.
It's going to be pretty hard to get back against this kind of early lead. The composition which you had would have really liked to play around these early pressure lanes and allowing Jiejie to get into the enemy jungle and start hampering top esports' ability to get towards big items. Tristana isn't really a champion unless she's ahead of the game. Lucian is another champion that loves to have a lead. And now you have this Rumble who's just at an absolutely absurd amount of gold, considering that the Udyr is meant to be one of the best champions in the game, is stopping this guy from getting much value. As I say that, he might have died for
Get a shutdown, though. That's pretty nice. This 369's going to fight back on a Jiejie, not going to get him. And the shutdown goes to Allah. So a decent amount, 600 gold in the pocket.
Yep, he died for a ward, folks. Want that to be on the record. Vision player.
Man, we were setting up so good for it.
And he was 3-0. He's like, wow, this guy's incredible. And he had a heck of a lot of damage. Almost turned it around in a 1v2 onto Jiejie. Not able to do so. Tian not in position either. That is a bit of a breath of life. So just really ultimate for Arla to get at least some gold onto his champion, get her demolished, potentially start to claw back a lead in the side.
Good. About to get a third plate up here too. This is the power of the Udyr. Does need to be careful about the response from 369, but a really evening a goal. Literally, they are point blank even to each other now. We have a flash play on mid. Shockwave coming through. Creme, he's tanking the turret there. Does flash out in time, and Tian gets the kill.
Fisher, once again, just kind of caught out between things. When you're making plays on side lanes, it's often mid lane which needs to be aware of where people can go after that player's completed. Because Jiejie kind of leaves that top side and doesn't hover mid, Tian chooses to go mid lane instead, gets the kill there alongside Creme. And this Tristana, who we said kind of struggles unless they get ahead in the game, is now very much ahead of this Orianna. Ahead in farm, got a kill and an assist.
I do want to see now the priority put around the Dragon, though, if there is going to be some prevalence of pressure around there, because we have Top Esports resetting that way, and they do have a couple item components at least completed for JackeyLove, too. Speaking of, though, they will be the only ones with presence around this bottom side of the map.
And particularly with Fisher dying multiple times in this mid lane now, it's harder to walk into the river through mid lane, which is one of the best ways to get towards an objective. Part of the reason that getting caught, I feel like Fisher, maybe this is some of the rookie tendencies being exposed a little bit against such veterans as Tian, and of course Creme, who's even got tenure on him as one of the mid-laners. He's of course not been around some of our real old hats in the LPL.
Especially in this game.
Yeah,
I mean, it's still nuts.
Creme actually has been around for a while. It's not like he's like completely fresh. It's just that we have like so many players that have been around for absolutely forever. You kind of have to mention it.
Yeah, you definitely do. We actually see a trade coming down here right now, Nymaera, though, as I think it's actually pretty worth trade to get these rubbing.
To an extent, I think it's good to deny them away from Top Esports from getting the 5 to 6. That would have been really annoying for someone like Tristana if he ever got to hit turrets at that point. It's a one-way kill. But however, getting the early dragons is something which Top Esports would be very happy with. Their own right. It's not the earliest first dragon, of course, 10 minutes on the board, but you know, that's something which can potentially stack up later and get them great value around souls.
The scary part is, though, EDG have not found an advantage or a lead necessarily yet against a double marksman composition that gets just stronger as the time goes on. We do have the Sundered Sky, though, completed for Jiejie with some threat of disturbance. Well,
I wanted to go back to that double marksman comp thing, because the team that played double marksman last year was EDG around regionals and into summer playoffs and then into regionals as well. This was the team that was playing. Now, it's a very different roster, but you know, this is a team which has a backbone of it, which is very aware of the danger of this composition when it gets ahead in a game. Of course, they were playing it a lot with stuff like the Ivern in the jungle. This time it's going to be the Maokai on the other side, which is less enchants and more bulky frontline and initiator for his team. But Top Esports bringing it out against EDG and really starting to get some gold in the right places. The gold lead itself isn't unmanageable right now, particularly I think because Arla's got a lot of value towards topside plates, and then of course the shutdown onto 369. But it's still a worry when this Lucian and this Tristana are getting to the point where they can start running into a lane and really threatening.
Let's be real, it's better than last game at least. Not like 5-6K down at 10 minutes in the game. Not bad. I mean, I think it was like 2 or 3 actually.
Oh no, it was well, when you got to like 14 minutes, it was 7,000. Absolutely insane.
It was after that really big fight. So they're in a better position. The car isn't falling apart just yet.
Yes, but like it's barely running. It definitely needs an MOT. It needs to have a bit of a checkup. This car is on its last wheels. Oh, is that a British thing?
Is that a British thing?
Yeah, I think that's like a checkup, a thing which says this is safe to drive.
Good job. Not a MOT. I don't know.
Thanks. So you had your ice cream cake. I had MOT. It's not really the same. I feel like one of these is not equal to. I would still much prefer the ice cream rather than an MOT.
Depends though. What if your vehicle really needs it?
That's true.
Well, actually
that's true.
But
I guess if I wanted to drive
you could never
safely,
pass up like ice cream cake. But you never had it, so how do you know if it's any good?
That's a very good point. I do have a sweet
tooth.
I'll check it out at some point. Check it out.
Can you even get ice cream cakes in wherever you are? Berlin.
Tell you what I can get. I can get good League of Legends if I watch the LPL. I can do that. That I can promise you.
True. I subscribe to that one. We've seen some good ones tonight. Although this series definitely feeling a little bit different than our chaotic last series that we had. It is now EDG trying to set up around the bottom side of the map with maybe some mid plates going back over the way of Creme.
I mean, the thing is with the Orianna is that you can never really stand alongside your minions and auto-attack the tower because the shockwave potentially clears all of the minions and then gets you into tower aggro as well. So it's not easy for Creme to hit the tower in this mid lane matchup. It means that top tiers will actually probably quite want the Herald to break this open and then move out into side lanes. This is actually quite a long time early game laning phase. We haven't seen anyone move the lanes around. We haven't seen bot lane switch through to mid just yet. That'll probably happen in the next couple of minutes. But you can see that Tristana, despite the fact that they have first item completion, they've had some resources put into them, can't hit that tower easily. So instead they're looking into the enemy jungle to make a play instead.
And we see that skirmishing kicking off now. Jiejie under threat here. We'll have Victor moving his way. Shouldn't be anything else that comes of it unless Tian wants to get a little spicy. Got the Rift Herald on the other side of the map though, Nymaera, and not about a minute and 10 till Dragon spawns. I would expect maybe some adaptation of pressure up that way, but maybe even not. Maybe just go focus on the Dragon for top esports.
Well, they could go for the Dragon. I just feel like getting this Herald to break up in mid turret is really high value. You see that Felix is now finally making the rotation into mid lane. This is something that we said would potentially come through in terms of lane assignment. With the culling used from JackeyLove to just chunk out Fisher, it makes it seem like there is not going to be an immediate contest. Because that culling at this point in the game is actually very important at the one item spot.
You can just pepper in so much damage there when it's least expected, I feel like, as well. But it looks like we're having a Avengers Assemble moment towards this Rift Herald. We do get some item spikes up right beforehand. Looks like everybody's going to be coming to the fight with at least a gun, but TES a little bit behind the play, will not be able to make the play on it.
Yeah, maybe they were just worried about Ala just being able to push in top lane for free right now. He has himself Merc Threads in the Mechanic Rookham, so it's not easy for 369 to win hard trades against him. This does, however, allow Creme with the 3 Void Grubs, and then of course the bomb on tower to take down first tower of the game in bot side.
Alright, JJ's got to be the driver here, right, of EDG. He's the adult in the situation.
He's the responsible adult. He's the one you go to if you trust things.
Ooh,
Ala,
a little spicy 1v1. Wow. I think Ala able to get some decent damage back, but this is exactly why he wanted the ghost. This is what you pointed out earlier. 369's got the angle. 369's cooking him alive, and he runs him down. You pay.
super speed, super galaxy rumble. 369 pops the ghost and turns Ala into a Spectre. That is why you picked that summoner spell. You're absolutely right. That's going to be very important. That means that Ala's not around to frustrate the top side of the map. Dragon has just spawned. Ala does have teleport, but he's not alive in time to contest this. 369 buys a Dragon on the bot side of the map for his team.
Really, really awesome use of the summoner spell, knowing that these situations happen all the time against an Udyr.
And you know, Ala probably does just disrespect him by taking both Electro Harpoons under tower and staying in range. But still, I think he just disrespects what's happened with the summoner spells. Ala, of course, one of our better individual top laners, has had a pretty rough start to the league so far. Had an awkward time versus Breathe. And, sorry, not Breathe, against, yes, sorry, it was against Breathe at the first part of it. And then, of course, now against 369, he's had a bit of a torrid time.
Yeah, it's not always going so easy, and that was something we wanted to see coming into tonight. If Ala could show up like we know him to do when pivotal moments come around, but unable to do so just yet. And 369 seems to have his number 2 games in a row. First on the Udyr, now on the Rumble with the tech of the Ghost.
At this point now, once you reach level 12 and particularly level 13, you max out your Electro Harpoons for the Rumble. Now, you've built up a lot of magic resist. One of the big changes that happened partway through last year to Rumble is that the Electro Harpoons give a lot of percent magic resist. Over here, it gives even more. He's going to be alone on the bottom side of the map now, and he might get shut down. But let's see if he can do some turnaround damage.
Let's have that third hit. Does also have the wind becomes lightning to close the distance. Can't get the damage just yet. There's the shockwave to make sure it happens. Meanwhile, Creme getting a topside tower. TP coming out from Ala. Yeah, the
defensive teleport from Ala is needed to stop Creme from just wrecking another turret down. 369, no ability to escape that play on the bot side of the map. Ala doesn't exactly have much armor to deal with Creme on the top side. They are actually going to be trading fairly evenly with this, despite the fact that Creme gets the tower first on top side. It's a kill and a tower going the other way.
Really nicely done, and they can actually keep pressing up here because there's no response coming out just yet from top esports on the bottom side of the map. Doesn't actually get the top side tier 2, but outer tower will fall to JackeyLove and Meiko.
Really like what Tian's doing here. This is a very common thing you do as Maokai. You're just going to stand by the turret, which is the next focus, and just threaten to throw your ult under that turret, especially when you have something like the 1 to 2 item spike Lucian with culling ready as well. If someone's rooted up by the Maokai ult, things go south very quickly. Like
they
this.
cut out Jiejie. Meiko must have just been in his head. He's like, JackeyLove, come here. I got a free kill. I know he's here.
Gosh, that is the damage of this Lucian when it hits its power spikes. Has the Blood Song already, has almost up to 2 items outside of the support item too. If someone is stunned in front of this Lucian, they are hitting the gray screen very quickly.
And it happened right there. I'm sure we'll get a replay of it. I hope we do. And here it goes.
Okay, so what's he seen? Yes, he was seen on a control ward. Okay, so that one's pretty easy. Walks over vision. Tries to stick around for the Scuttle Crab. That is probably a mistake too much. Yep, gonna have the movement speed afterwards too from the Nami's abilities onto Lucian.
Oh,
just has no crescent guard to play around as well.
Is Meiko sending him a message after that one? Is he gonna send him one
really
after this?
say?
Like, I'm really sorry. I
mean, Jiejie said see you in bot lane. He says see you in jungle.
Oh, goodness. Got to feel good for Meiko against his previous organization. Here's that Nature's Grasp under tower you're talking about with the equalizer combo. Fret the life, but Leave is on the wrong side of town here, and there ain't no breath left to give. Vampire just has to stand there as the light is starting to come back again.
I wonder whether Leave should have just stepped backwards and used the Breath of Life to try and get towards his inhibitor turret. He tries to step forward out of the Maokai ult. Doesn't really work out for him. And suddenly, in the last minute or two, despite EDG starting this phase of play with a kill onto 369 and a tower, it's top esports that have really crushed the base. Baron hasn't been taken, but yet they've broken open part of the inner turret circuit of EDG's base.
There's another dragon in about a minute as well, and Creme has just been farming up a storm in the side lane now as well. I'm sure next back is going to be a big purchase for him as well, get a second item there. But he is going to keep pressing up until this dragon spawns, where I'm sure TES are going to call the banners and get down there.
Sure they will. The item breakpoints are really hard to contest now, particularly with the rapid fire cannon carried on from JackeyLove. Once he dashes forward, especially with Nami buffs, the extended range onto the Bloodsong autos and everything else attached onto that. There's no one really on EDG that can tank that. Even someone like Udyr is going to get chunked out very heavily. Top esports, they're already winning in terms of the map play and the fights that they're taking. They've just reached maybe the peak of their power at 2 items.
Peak of power. See if it does actually maybe take a lasting stance in here, because Dragon Fight is coming up and JackeyLove has already used the culling.
Has at least Vampires there to give Jiejie a little bit more vitality, a bit more healing and shielding. EDG trying to brute force priority into the mid lane and get towards this dragon. However, 369 is here and has the ultimate available again, and there's Maokai.
Really good angle. The equalizer on top of the tidal wave, all the wombos, all the combos, and it's EDG starting to get picked apart. All it gets pushed back by the buster shot. Creme is gone. That's actually really big for EDG, but Leaf gets engaged on Tian, pops it back, and JackeyLove is going with 2 kills already. Looking for even more, but it's a nice little ultra mega fire kick from EDG. We'll see if Fisher can actually find the angle, though. I don't think he's getting out of this one alive, as he's getting cooked by 369. And JackeyLove gets his 3rd kill of the fight.
You can keep your super mega fire kick. Here's the super galactic face melter. 369 once again coming in clutch. Fantastic ultimate, especially when it was layered on top of the Maokai and the Nami ultimates. Top esports, they're going to get themselves a lot of gold off of this. They get themselves into the dragon. EDG, they are struggling to find a way to deal with the huge amounts of long-range damage coming out from 369's big ultimates, and the rest of the team pinning them into it. Look at this. You use that Crescent Guard to try and buy yourself some time, but the rest of the team has to be in absolute free-fire retreat. Now, Creme does jump on top of the turret and jumps on top of a shockwave. That's probably not the best, but it doesn't matter. The damage is already done.
The fact is that, yeah, they were already moving forward anyways. Creme gladly gives his life there, wanting to try to find more kills, but in the end, it's EDG just running away from Top Esports, who had the play early on in their eyes. And 369, you said it earlier, he's making toast out of EDG right now.
We'll see if they fall butted side up or down, whether it's a lucky or bad day. Either way, it's falling from the plate, it feels right now. First game was still much less close than this. I guess EDG have had a better sign of the early game from that. The top esports, their team fighting is looking pretty good. And this is now going to be the problem of some teams, where we see them play against BLG, who look really good right now. And then we have to decide whether they're actually good or whether they are a struggling team. Top esports, they're looking really good today.
That was a little bit scary for Jiejie. We'll have to pop that crescent guard down, but the top lane tier 2 is in the eyes of TES now.
It's 369 hiding in the brush. I don't know whether anyone...
Oh, here it comes again.
Maiko yet again.
Equalizer, there it goes. The combo. Breath of Life used yet again. Just get out of that combo, but the tier 2's already gone.
But look at what they did at the end of that combo as well, because it was the... Of course, you have the Maiko ult. The cleanse comes through, but Meiko's trying to time this. The cleanse is out, and then the bubble comes in after, so the cleanse is nullified. That's actually really clever from top esports. I like that combo. And now with the double AD carries and Leandri's burning on Baron, this will absolutely melt. Meiko looking to ult to buy some time.
Ala has DP, he's going to get in, try to get with the team, but the Baron's already gone. Top esports trying to make a great escape now, and they'll do just that. Easily done. Picked up the Baron, and now on the retreat.
Easy as you like. They're going to get themselves the mid lane out of turret in response. I think if top esports teleport to defend this, they would probably die. Of course, the tower will be gone before they even complete it. So EDG, a minor victory, but it is very much a Pyrrhic one at that. They've lost themselves the Baron. They have probably one last fight in them before the base is broken and the siege becomes a chokehold.
And you see there, 38% damage done of the team by 369. He's definitely rolling some nines now in the dice.
It showed JackeyLove at 27%.
Yeah.
Why do they have to do it like that, man?
Hey, I mean, 27% is respectable. That's a lot of damage.
369 looking to the bot side of the map. Look at me. I'm the carry now.
This is what it was all building up
this
towards.
This is fun, right? Because 369 for the longest time has been on tank duty. He has been buying space for his carries instead of being the one who's actually carrying. Now, back at the start of his career, and as his glory is on top esports as well for that organization, he was a huge carry. It's nice to see him heading back towards that kind of archetype to show he still has the ability to play that competitively. We always knew he could, but can he do it now in this fight? He has to teleport in.
JackeyLove getting in there now. Jiejie getting burned down, goes right back in. JackeyLove, the one that gets taken out. But Big Papa 369 has come to the party, and he's not holding anything back. He does get the one over there. Ala getting taken down by Creme, and this is the problem with the double marksman composition. There's always a snake ready to bite.
3 for 1. JackeyLove goes down after Jiejie and Fisher combo up to, but they are now everyone who is capable of defending this turret and performing a little bit of a front line has hit the ground. Top esports will break open the base. This is a very bad Tristana. They won't have problems hitting turrets. Top esports, this is probably the game-breaking play for them.
It's feeling like it. They will lose their bottom side inhib and mid inhib here easily because Creme on this Tristana just burns down the base structures. And that will be now potentially a third one if Creme wants to go up here. It's a little dicey though. See, Rocket jumps his way away.
I think he sees leave with the Gravitum and says, yeah, I'd rather not get rooted up into the enemy team. I don't care if it's super fed. That's still enemy members on the other side of the road. Out at the start, JackeyLove running up to Ala, not quite realizing that I think the reinforcements were that close by. Even then, it's a pretty good fight. I think that if 369 is here a second or two earlier, maybe this fight goes a little bit cleaner and JackeyLove lives because the Shockwave maybe is out of range and he can force them back. Either way, he turns up and does an absolute boatload of damage. I really like how top esports have comboed up with the Maiko and the Rumble. It's been very, very good at hitting people into the right place at the right time. You have to time those abilities quite well. And now top esports with the last of their Baron buff just running out, will look to contest this mid lane, potentially get themselves an Ocean Soul and end this game.
It's one thing to pick a combo, it's the other thing to execute it. We've seen it executed time and time again so far from top esports, and we're probably about to see it yet again. Nature's Grass comes out, Equalizer on top, Breath of Life goes through, but it was actually Jiejie that got it. Moonlight Vigil goes wide, Jiejie gives his life to top esports. I think they gladly give one dragon over to take multiple lives of EDG. As he's popped the ghost, he's doing it again. It's the flame and burn tactic by 369.
Creme just jumps on the bot lane off screen and absolutely murders them. Creme doing his own stunts as the rest of his team keep the fleeing members of EDG busy.
Creme making sure that Meiko gets good old revenge against his old org, and at least making a statement here for Top Esports to get themselves into a 1-1 series scoreline. Insult to injury, Fisher falls one more time, and Creme puts the finishing touches as Top Esports go up 2-0 in this series and go up 1-1 in their season.
I think rumors of Top Esports' demise were greatly exaggerated. I know a lot of people had questions about their series versus BLG. Oh, their macro wasn't looking very good. The way they executed on Teamfights could have been a lot better. What about their early game in a couple of those games? This team today looks really, really good. I think on the other side, EDG, they have a lot of problems they need to address. I think that some of the awareness of Fisher is lacking in the early game. Got caught out far too many games.